Welcome, everyone, to Locks of Lore. My name is Benny.
And I'm Tash.
This is Locks of Lore, where two hairstylists get real about the life behind the chair.
We are talking client drama, money talks, industry tea, and everything you'd normally only hear in the back room.
Whether you're a stylist or just love the beauty world, welcome to the group chat. Hello,
Hello,
everybody.
everybody. Welcome
It
back.
is oh my God, I don't even have my mic near me. Like, my mic is so far away. My mic is fucking basically down in
What are
Mexico,
you
just so
doing?
far. Not
It's only like
prepared.
our seventh. How many episodes is this now? 8? 7?
I think this is episode 9.
9? Well, what the hell? You should know better. Woo!
Woo! We've almost done 10 whole episodes. That's crazy.
We're gonna have to do some kind of celebration. Guess what, everybody? I have strep throat right now.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. I really
Awful.
wanna know how you got strep throat. I'm
Yeah,
is
I think
curious.
I must have been making out with somebody.
Just sharing all the fucking cigarettes with everybody even though you don't smoke?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
It's actually really funny because when I was in my early 20s, there was one night that me and a small group of friends went out, and we all made out with each other, and we all got strep throat. The whole night, we just kept drinking and making out with each other, guys and girls,
Oh
everybody kissed
my
everybody, and
god.
every single one of us got strep throat. I think maybe one person didn't. We were like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" But legitimately, 6 of us all got sick. It was so
I wish
crazy.
that I could say that's how I got strep throat. That sounds like way more fun. I think I got it from my kid. I think
How is that possible?
well, because all the kids are sick right now, you know what I mean? They go to school, they come home, they're sick, and then the parents end up getting it.
I know, but I need to look a little further into strep. How do kids get strep?
I don't know. Maybe they don't
Yeah.
like, I don't know if he had strep throat. He was just really bad cough and kinda cold and flu, so who knows, Benny? But either way, I had to cancel my last 3 days of clients, which is horrid. I hate
Oh,
doing
I
that.
hate
It's
that
actually like
feeling.
I will not cancel unless I'm dying because it's
Yeah.
so stressful to reschedule people, like, when you book
I
far
was
in advance.
just gonna ask you, how do you reschedule people? Do you just take extra days at the salon or do you just squeeze it in?
A bit of both. Like, I
Yeah.
can't work really long hours anymore, I just can't, and
Yeah.
so I will do a bit of both. I'll go in on extra days, I'll squeeze little haircuts in at the beginning and the ends of my days, but, it's just so
Especially 3 whole days
stressful.
of rescheduling. That's not 1 day,
Exactly.
that's 3
It's
days.
so many people, so
Yeah.
and then the few that really need in, like, ASAP, I'll slide them in with other stylists at my salon
Yeah.
if those clients are okay with that, just to help me out because, oh, it stresses me out so much. It's just not fun.
Hmm. Oh.
So,
Actually,
yeah.
I'm meaning to ask you, how was your Moroccan oil color experience? How did that go for you?
You know what? My roots are lovely. It gave me
Yeah?
very nice coverage. Can you see? I don't know
I
if
can
you
see.
can,
It's a
but
little bit it's not the best quality for me, but I can see
yeah.
some even
Mm,
coverage. Doesn't
I'm
look
really
spotty
happy
to
with
me.
it. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was, mixed 1 to 1. They sent me 20 volume developer, so I used 20
Yeah.
volume with it. Um
Okay.
I find with Pravana, I usually just use 10 volume, and I find
Yeah.
using 20 volume, I get too much lift almost at
Yeah,
my
yeah,
refilling
yeah.
area, and it's lighter than my ends, but I use 20 with Moroccan oil, being a little bit nervous that it was gonna lift and give me, like, a hot root like Pravana does, but it
Mhm.
didn't. So, that was cool, and, I
Shout out
really
to
like the
Moroccan
coverage,
oil.
so shout out to Moroccan oil, thank you. I use the 4NN.
I was so shocked that you needed a double pigmented color. To me, I'm like, "Ugh, are we there in our life?"
I am, Benny. I started going gray when I was, like, 18, and I'm just
Oh,
finally, like
really?
yeah, it's just yeah, it's a lot.
Mm.
So,
Before I colored my hair short and blonde, I didn't have any grays, but a couple weeks ago, before I did my roots, I saw some I wasn't sure if they were white hairs or you know how some hairs just don't grow? And so I wasn't
yeah.
sure if they were platinum hairs that just didn't grow
Oh,
yet,
yeah,
and so,
from
like,
last
it looked like
time.
it was a white hair. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna assume that it was the latter and that I do not have any gray
Mhm.
hairs. Although I
Ugh.
wouldn't mind having grays, because it will make it easier for me to go platinum.
I know that's the thing is, like, especially I'm growing out this one big
I
white
love your
chunk
chunk.
in the front, and, like,
I love
I'm
it.
loving it. It's gonna be
Me
sick.
too. It's
So
gonna be absolutely sick.
yeah, so, like, stuff like that is gonna be really fun because could I
Yeah.
ever get my natural level, like, 3, 4 hair to be this, like, white? No, it would never happen. So I finally get to have, like,
Well, you could.
super
You would
white
just be, like,
stuff.
always toning it and always
No.
bleach bathing it and
My hair is super breakable and like, kinda curl it would
oh,
yeah.
I'll take it on. I would be the style that's like, "Sit down, I'm making a white blonde, let's fucking
Okay.
go."
Okay, well,
Yeah. I mean, it'll
someday.
take us, like, several hours because 'cause I'm gonna use a 5 volume, but, oh, I would do it for sure. For
Okay.
sure.
Well, next time. No,
One
'cause
day, I'm gonna sit you down and fill your head with K-tips.
anyways, yeah, I'm growing it all naturally anyways now, so whatever.
Yeah. I'm still gonna
Yeah.
fill your head with a bunch of extensions one day, you're not gonna have a choice.
Yeah, no, I'm down for that.
Yeah,
I
sick,
feel like
sick.
we talk about that every single episode.
I know, one of these days, by the time we get ready to have video footage of us, you're gonna have a whole head of hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean
Well, everyone, my name is Benny, and this week, I am not a formula, but I am the chunk of hair in the back of your client's head that either has no color or is a completely different formula from the front because you ran out. And it
Okay.
happens. It happens.
It
We've all
does
been there before. You
happen.
know, you make sure you get the perimeter so they were do you wear your hair up a lot? Yeah? Okay, cool. Let me just make sure I get the
Perfect,
perimeter,
perfect.
yeah.
Let me yeah. Oh,
Oh, it's
yeah.
hilarious.
I do
That
that to
kinda
myself.
happened to me this week,
Mm.
and I just was like,
Oh, did it?
I could go mix more color," but I just kinda dry colored it in the middle of the back area, and it didn't matter because that person has 0 grays back there. It's
Yeah.
minimal that I'm but it worked out. Sometimes it
I do
doesn't,
that
but, you know,
to
you never know.
myself all the time actually, because 'cause I'll just,
Oh,
like
for
I'll
sure.
color my roots at home, right? So I'm like I do all, like, the top stuff, then I'm, like, too lazy or run out of color to do the back, so I just say, "Fuck it," and I just
Yeah.
don't do it. But when you're just matching up with your natural, that's a different
Yeah.
story,
Yeah,
right?
that's a different story, and the
Or
back of my head's not my business, so
yeah, you don't have to look at it, so
not for me.
whatever.
Don't care. Yeah. Who are you this week, Tash? I know you
Oh.
hate this part, but I love
I
asking
hate
you.
this part. You know what? Because we were just talking about it, my name is Tash, and I am the chunk of silver that's naturally growing
Mm.
out of your hair that you're just letting it happen. And every time you color your roots, you do take a little tiny elastic and you put it around that little section right here, right in the
Oh, little
front,
baby.
and then yeah, little baby, and then you color the rest of your roots.
And you know that white
That's
chunk's
who I
gonna
am.
become your whole personality at some
It
point.
is, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah, it's
but, like, I will just become Stacy London, that's my goal.
100%.
Mm.
That is just gonna be you, that whole front
Yeah,
chunk. And you know what you can do when we do your extensions is we can do, like, a block color of other white hairs in the back, so it looks like you have a
1
skunk
hundo.
effect.
Yeah, that's goals, hair goals.
Oh, I'm so
I'm
excited
excited.
for that day.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mm.
Thank you.
So I was looking into some salon industry news, and nothing big happened this week. Just some minor stuff, which I'll let you know about. Salt and Stone Advent International acquired a majority stake in this global expansion for the beauty care brand. Have you ever tried Salt and Stone?
I don't think so.
No? Have you seen the ads for it? It flooded my TikTok or my Instagram, actually both, at around the same time, and it just so happened I was in a store and I grabbed it. It's really nice, the packaging's beautiful, they have, shampoo no, they don't have shampoos, they have, body wash, like lotions, deodorant. I went with the deodorant first, and the scent was beautiful, but it kind of gave me BO. It was weird. I wasn't sure if I was smelling the scent or if that was a body odor, so I stopped using it, yet somehow it's empty. Question mark? How'd that happen? I stopped using it very quickly, and I was just going through all my products to make sure I throw stuff out, and I opened my Salt& and Stone deodorant, and it was on its last legs. So, either I'm waking up in the middle of the night and I am putting on deodorant in my sleep, or somebody's been jacking my deodorant from my bathroom. The
I
fuck?
looked it up and I do recognize it, but no, I haven't tried it, so interesting.
It does smell really nice. But I got the body wash instead in the same scent. I think I got the Santal Vetiver scent, and it is so nice. I'm obsessed. And I love when these companies get acquired because you never really know what happens, what's in the future
Yeah.
for them.
Do you know what, which one I'm obsessed with, but I can't bring myself to buy it for myself? So, uh, and Benny, you know this brand. I can't remember their name right now. What's the brand that when we all went to Montreal and I stayed in that really fancy hotel
Oh, the
and they gave me
Labo?
the Labo. It
Oh,
is
yeah, I
the
know.
nicest scent I have ever experienced in my entire life. And then I
Was it the
started
Hinoki one?
it
Do you
was
remember
like
what it was called?
it was like the original one.
They don't
Uh,
have, like, an original scent, they have different collections, and they might have had, I think, the Hinoki one in the bathroom. The Labo is phenomenal. It is so, so, so good. I bought a body wash of it once, and I only basically wear it when I'm going out on a date, and every time somebody gets really close to your skin, and they're just like, "Ooh, smells so good."
was, Santal 33.
Oh, Santal 33. Okay, I bought a bottle, and it's crazy because on everybody else, it smells like heaven, but on me, it gave me a migraine instantly to the
Oh,
point where
really?
both times I put it on, I had to take a shower. I couldn't even just wipe it off. It was such a piercing headache. I've
So what
never
did
had
you
that
do
happen
with it?
before.
What did you do with the bottle?
I I gave it away to somebody. It was a $300
No!
bottle. Yeah.
I was supposed to say, "Send it to me,
Oh, I gave that away a
Benny."
long time ago.
You
It was
probably gave
many,
it to
many,
some boyfriend that didn't even matter.
I don't even
Probably
remember who
give
I
it
gave
to
it to.
oh,
It
that's
was somebody in
yeah.
my bathroom who was commenting on it, and I
Mm.
was like, "Do you want it? You can just take that," because I
Oh,
after the second time of it giving me a piercing headache, I thought, "You know what? No." And so I went back and I bought the Discovery set instead, and I found a couple other ones that I really liked, but unfortunately Santal 33 does not agree with me. But what's funny is the dupe from Dossier, which I was gonna also say in our news this week, Dossier has also had a purchaser. American Pacific Group has taken a majority stake in the fragrance dupe brand. Love Dossier. They have a dupe of Santal 33 that is so good and it lasts forever on me and it doesn't give me a headache. So I use that
really?
one a lot. Yeah,
And it smells really similar?
almost identical. It is really,
Can you
really, 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 really close.
can you send it to me? I'm gonna need
Yeah,
to order
definitely, I'll
that.
send it to you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I can't remember where I was, but they had a bunch of boxes of it, and they were $13 or $15, so I just bought
What?
yeah, it was, it was a secondhand shop, it was a vintage store, and they just had, like, a case of it, and I was going through and I took every single one of them. I have, I think, 2 left at
Oh
this
my
point. They're
god,
so
what the
good.
heck?
I know, but I have a problem with
Okay.
perfumes. I can't help
Yeah.
myself.
I have a hard time letting myself buy expensive perfumes like that. I just
Mm.
have a hard time doing it. Maybe it's because 'cause I'm a parent, like, I've got 2 kids, and so I'm like,
Yeah.
but, like, I think about that scent ever since that day in Montreal when I stayed at that
Really?
hotel, and I actually saved so it came with, like, a shampoo, a conditioner, a body wash, and I saved all the little bottles so I can just, like, smell one every once in a while because they're so
Uh,
good.
they also have well, I don't think they have it anymore, but they had at a period laundry detergent. And so you could make your
Ooh.
bed sheets and towels smell like
Oh
Le
my
Labo.
god.
Holy, that was luxurious.
No kidding, and they had a
Yeah,
lotion too, I remember, I got a little lotion
yeah.
sampler that I used up instantly. Ugh,
I
so
really
nice.
like the Hanoki, they have a scent in their home line called Hanoki, and I drink that one up. And then there's
Really?
another one, a Tonka bean. There's one that has Tonka bean in it, and oh my god, it is unbelievable. Anyways, I could talk about this all fucking
This
day
could be
long
a whole
because
hour
I'm
episode.
so obsessed with scent, but I will splurge on some of these things because to be honest, there's nothing better than smelling so good. And what's
Yeah.
funny was the other couple weeks ago when Anastasia was over, I've been recently obsessed with these Zara perfumes. They have a Joe Malone collection at Zara and they're so nice. Highly recommend you check them out. But I went and they had one called Saffron and Orange and I loved it so much that I bought the last 2 bottles that were there and then after paying, went back to the sample and drained the sample on my coat. Just said just said, "This scent is fucking mine," and I drenched the rest of that bottle on my coat. There was legitimately
Nobody
nothing
else can
left.
have it. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's funny because an Anastasia was over and I kept reapplying it. I legitimately put it on as I was going to bed just so I could smell it in my sleep, and sometimes I'll do that. I think that the
Ah,
scent in my dreams kind of influences the mood of the dream, so
right.
I'll reapply right before I go to bed.
Yeah, it soothes you probably too.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Love that. So I don't have any TikTok drama, but we definitely have a juicy one for you today. I wanna talk about toxic salons.
Yes,
Ugh.
big topic.
I'm gonna let you go
Okay.
first because I know the last salon I worked at is toxic to with all capitals, and I'm gonna save that for a little bit later, but have you ever worked at a toxic salon?
Yes. When I first started working at this salon, it wasn't toxic. It was awesome. It
Mhm.
started out great, but it slowly became toxic, I think maybe as different people started working there,
Mm.
um, certain people together became toxic, and
In what
it
way?
got awful. A lot of gossiping, a lot of talking about each other, like, the boss would talk about the other stylists
Whoa.
and even their, clients, like,
I
constantly
was gonna
behind
ask what
everybody's
the boss
backs.
was doing about all of this, but they were
Yeah,
involved in it?
the boss was almost the worst one. It was, like, the boss and then this other one, and they would kind of do this together where they would, like, make fun of everybody all the time, and they would
Whoa.
yeah, and honestly, the worst thing that well, one of the worst things that happened to me there. I'm not even gonna get into the other one because it's way too much. But, I was called a waste of skin by one of
What?
my coworkers, and the boss knew about it, and they just didn't do anything about it. They just let it go. Yep.
Whoa. So it
Yeah,
sounds
so
like it was a lot of the people that were there that maybe made that happen. Do you think it was because you said the boss was that way, do you think that person was always toxic, or it was the influence of the other people that joined the team that
I kinda think it was the influence of the other people that joined the team, like, I think maybe the
Mm.
boss was maybe always a little bit that way, but I think that because they always kinda wanted to be friends with everybody that was on the team, they became good friends with one of them that was a bit toxic, and then the combination of the 2 of them together was just awful. They were so mean. I would cry all the time. I started having, like, anxiety, having to go into work every single day.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I would, like, freeze up around them. It was awful. It was so awful, and
Oh, I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
yeah, I actually still have PTSD around that place of work, um, and yeah, I'm not even
For
gonna
sure
say
you would.
anything. I'm not even gonna say anything more, but, like, yeah, I can't be around that person. They've said
Have
some
you
awful,
seen them
awful
around
things to
still? Are
me.
they in the industry?
Yeah, one day I was this is wild. I was at ESP, which is one of our distributors, working an event, representing Pravana. So I'm like
Okay.
wearing a Pravana t-shirt. I'm like behind a booth, like, talking about color and whatever, stylists are coming into the distributor and you like tell them about
Mhm.
new product happening or whatever it is. And this person came in and started yelling at me from across um the distributor, calling me a liar, like, being like, "You're a liar. I never said
What?
those things." Yeah, because I did actually end up having to take it to, like, a workers' compensation or whatever it's called, like,
Mm.
yeah, and
It
I'm
had to
not
be
gonna get in
escalated.
I'm not gonna get into that story, but it had to be escalated, and they, didn't agree with my side of the story, and they, like,
Yeah.
verbally attacked me in front of the distributor, which then apparently the distributor banned them from ever going back to that distributor because I got attacked. So,
Yeah.
yeah, not okay,
Wow.
not
Not
cool, and you know
okay.
what? It really, taught me how to not be as a business owner and as a boss. So,
100%.
yeah, I learned a lot from that
100%.
experience. Yeah.
You know, for better or for worse, those things definitely teach us, and it seems crazy because everybody has worked in a toxic salon, which means that it is rampant in our industry,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm not surprised. Like, we are big personality people,
Yeah.
and that can clash so quickly, and it can also create a whirlwind of a tornado, like it sounds like in your salon, where just 2 people being together created such an environment that was so toxic that on their
Yeah.
own, they probably weren't so bad, but then together, it was
Yeah.
enabling just torture, it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
awful. Everybody ended up leaving eventually because it was just,
Yeah.
like, you
Do you
couldn't
think that
handle
salon is
being in
still
there.
open?
It's not.
It's not open.
No, it's not open anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder where that person's working now.
I know where they're working, but
Oh.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say, and unfortunately, I don't go in there anymore because I am too uncomfortable around them. So,
Yeah. Oh,
yep.
well, I'm sorry to hear that. So then I guess you left that salon and it's been sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops since? Because it sounds like that was a fucking shit show.
Yeah, that was a shit show. I then moved to a different salon after that, which was great. It was amazing, and
Yeah.
I loved that place, and I realized that it didn't have to be that toxic. It didn't have to be that
Yeah.
way, you know what I mean? Like, salons don't
Yeah.
have to be that way, and I feel for
Nowhere needs to be
you
that way. No work
nowhere
environment
needs
needs to feel there.
exactly, no work environment needs to feel that way. I think for me, like, looking back, I should have left so much earlier, but
Yeah.
I was a baby stylist. I didn't know how to deal with being
Mhm.
bullied like that at the
Mhm.
workplace,
For
and I
sure.
just took it. I just took it. I took being called names by basically the owner and his little whatever counterpart
Worst.
so that I could have a job. I don't know. It was awful.
Well, it sounds like it I mean, you had to do what you needed to do, but I'm glad that it pulled through for you, and it taught you how to be an amazing boss because you have one of the best salons, so, everything happens for a reason. I'm sorry you have to go through that, but, you know
What's your story, Benny?
um, so I have this one salon in the city. I'm not gonna name it, but a little bit of fact checking could easily figure it out. This person is infamous in the city. They
Mm,
own a salon that's been there for almost 20, 25 years at this point. They are in the area that I worked in when I was a very, very young stylist. As soon as I graduated high school working at a salon, I moved downtown to the most expensive area. It seemed to be salon mecca. There were salons everywhere. And there was this one in particular salon that would constantly have horror stories coming from it, and by
oh,
horror stories,
no.
I mean clients coming even me as a little junior stylist, I was fixing people that came from that salon. He was famous at the time for having you stand upside down, like, with your head all the way down, put your hair into
Okay.
a ponytail, lob it off in one fell swoop,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
having his assistant blow dry it, and then whatever it landed to was the haircut.
Wow.
Obviously, it was a drug den, so people were just going crazy. There were apparently fist fights in the salon.
Whoa.
I knew so many stylists that were assistants there that hadn't been paid in months, months.
Oh,
And
no.
ironically, at the same time, I worked at a nightclub near the area where this person would come to the front door, and if I happened to be at the front door that day and I obviously recognized them, they would try to get in for free, and I would say no, mostly because I knew that they were not paying people. So I thought, if
Mhm.
you're going to pay me, you're going to pay us, you know?
Yep.
And then, funny story, one time I was at a nightclub and this owner's partner started to chat me up in the bathroom, and the owner walks into the bathroom and starts flipping on his partner, and he's like, "Who the hell do you think you are talking to this guy? He's the guy from the front door at this nightclub. I know him for sure," and just, like, lost it on me in some bathroom.
Oh,
So that was the history of this person. So what do I
oh.
do a couple years
Get a
ago?
job there? Did you?
Yes. Yeah.
No way. No
100%.
way. Why?
100%. Okay, so I was
Oh.
renting a chair at a friend's salon, and I was looking to get I felt like I wanted to go back to Yorkville, whatever. I knew that salon was closing, and it just so happened that the manager of that salon had reached out to me on Instagram saying, "Hey, I've had quite a few people that come to see me for blowouts that you do their color. I love your work. Can you please just come in and, work here?" Now, I'm gonna preface this by saying this salon is notorious for not only having crazy amounts of drama, but for being one of the most expensive salons in the city. It was not
Okay.
unusual to leave there spending six, $700 on a haircut. It was just
Okay.
unbelievable what this and apparently he became famous one day for making Bill Clinton wait on Air Force One for a haircut. That was how he got famous, apparently, the
What?
stylist.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And the stylist would spend 10 days in Miami, 10 days in New York, 10 days in Toronto. So every 10 days he was flying to the next location to do hair. It's just wild. So in my mind, I thought, I need to work at this place to see what is going on in there and to see, number one, how is he staying in business for 20 years? How are they working in that salon? Are those stories true? Is there anything I can learn from this situation? And the best part was is I was going into that completely self-employed, just renting a chair from him. So I didn't fall under the category of the rest of the stylists.
Right.
But oh my God, the shit I saw in that salon. So in the very beginning, I worked in a different floor of the salon and I had 3 chairs to myself, basically an entire floor. He had an entire house in Yorkville, which was
Wow.
a four-floored house, and the everybody was kinda all over the place. So I had an entire floor to myself, which was great. And like, in the beginning, it was so nice. The owner would come up and say really crazy things one time, like oh, not one time, all the time, um, and it was always, like, so out of pocket, and it didn't really affect me because I was on the 2nd floor, but I would always hear these, like, crazy fights happening downstairs, and I would just peek my head around to be like, "Hey, what's going on?" But eventually, we moved to a new salon where I was on the same floor as everybody else, and that was
Mhm.
when the shit show
Your
began. I
eyes
started to
open.
yeah. So,
Okay.
this was the salon where I watched him hand paint a 1B on a platinum blonde as a low light at the sink. She's laying there with her hair
Oh,
out, freshly toned, platinum, and he takes 1B with a brush and just starts low lighting her hair like balayage style. And he's like, "Don't worry, we do this in France. We do this in France." And of course, the fucking low lights go disgusted. They're like this
yeah.
weird, unfilled black there's
Great.
just
Yeah.
gray, and she's platinum from root to tip, and now there's these
Oh,
streaks of black through it, and so then
no.
he blames the assistant. He says it's the assistant's
Oh,
fault that it was
no.
that color. He's like, "Well, she did it. It's her fault. She mixed the color." And he is so anal that he would be like, "Make sure you mix this and mix this and mix this." So it wasn't the it's never the assistant's fault, but
Yeah.
he would legitimately hire these people off the street with no background in hair whatsoever, get them to be doing all these services. They'd be doing highlights like, he would do, like that's what I was saying,
What?
like, some salons do the front and then he does the back. He would do just the hairline highlight, and these people off the street would be coming in and doing the back half of these people's highlights with
So,
no
like,
training.
these aren't even oh my
No
gosh.
training, like, no training. They're just young, hot people off the street that he likes or meets at a club and
Okay.
tells them to come work there, and they're full on fucking doing highlights that he's gonna turn around and charge $1,000
This
for.
is
Like
terrifying.
and so, of course, the hair's all over the place. Everybody had the most insane breakage I have ever seen because he pulled Lightner
For
through
sure.
every single time. He said
Yeah.
bleach doesn't break hair, ammonia does. And I had to be like, "Motherfucker, what do you think is in bleach?
Oh
A
god.
shit ton of ammonia." Like,
Yeah. Oh my
even by
god.
that logic, that still doesn't make any sense. Like it was unbelievable. It be very, very, very quickly. I ended up having to consult almost every single thing to the point where he would tell his assistant to mix something, and before the assistant would mix something, they'd come to me and be like, "Hey, I need to mix this and this and this. What do you think?" And I'm like, "No, no, I think that you should mix this and this and this." And then they would mix that and then it would all be fine. Or they'd be like, "Can
Wow.
you help me formulate this blonde?" They wouldn't even go to the owner. They would just ask me to help formulate the blonde at the sink so that they would eliminate the amount of times he had any interaction with these customers. And so
Wow.
I know, but one thing I learned from this person, which is the reason why people go there, is he put on a show. It was so loud, so much vibrato. He made these women feel seen. And one thing I learned about some people in a certain tax bracket is and you know what? Actually, in every tax bracket, but the people in this tax bracket a little more extreme is people are lonely, you know? And so when somebody makes them feel seen, they make them feel beautiful, even though the hair itself is not good looking. That in itself was the reason why people kept coming back. That was the
Yeah.
reason why he had been there for 20 years, had built these strong relationships with these people. And it wasn't because of the hair. If anything, if they had a good enough look at the hair, they probably would have ran for the fucking hills. But it was because of the way he would make them feel. but he was scamming them left, right, and center. One time I went upstairs and I watched the assistant fill little bottles with dippity-doo gel from the dollar store, and he would
No.
sell this gel for $40.
No.
All the serum was biogel, was bio oil, not what's that's that
Biolage?
Biolage, that Biolage serum. He would get the big
Oh,
jugs, fill these little jugs, and sell them for these crazy amounts. Also, the price of all these things changed depending on what handbag you came in with. So if you came
oh,
in with a cheap bag,
wow.
your price is very different than if you're putting a brand new Fendi on that counter.
Wow.
I will never forget
Wow.
it. People used to get they would come in and, like, the blow dries are, like, $200, $300, and he'd be washing their hair with dollar store shampoo that he just ran and sent an assistant to the dollar store to pick up, and he would do that. There was this one
Oh
old
my
lady
god.
that she would come in every Saturday morning for her blowout, and that was where I first experienced Bellman because he would carry it at the salon. But that client every week would beg and beg and beg for the Bellman shampoo to be used. And to the point where she brought her own shampoo because she was like, "Oh, I hate the shit that you guys use. I'm gonna just buy it and bring my own shampoo." Yet he would say that he's using it, but then she would always be like, "No, this isn't the shampoo. I can tell the difference." And so eventually
Yeah.
she just would bring her own shampoo. Can you imagine having to bring your own shampoo to a blow dry
No.
appointment that you spend
Why
$200
are
for?
why are you going there? Like, go
Right?
somewhere else then.
So then at
Wow.
some point, because this stylist was traveling so much, they hired another main stylist, a young hot guy, great guy, but he's kind of a little bit misguided in the industry right now. So he's doing the best he can. But he became, I guess, the next best stylist there, and he was so notorious for just letting the assistant do as much of the work as possible. He wanted to be with the client as little as possible, but still charge the most. He would have 4 people going at once, mostly because he would have all these assistants doing all the hair, which was that's what I mean by good for him. He figured out how to make it work for him. These assistants, it's not his fault, he's not hiring them, but anyways, he would always come into work. I remember this one Saturday, he'd come into work, like, 2 hours late, okay? Like, it wasn't uncommon for him to come in that late. So at this
Yeah.
point now, I've come in at, my normal 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock or something, and I've finished a full head of highlights. I'm on my second appointment or my third appointment, and the first 3 appointments are still sitting at that edge of the chairs waiting for this stylist to show up, and they refuse to let the assistant start on them because they're not there to see the assistant, they're there to see that stylist. I remembered one day, and this was around when I was about to quit, there were 3 people sitting at the shampoo bowl berating the manager. "I can't believe he's not here. He doesn't even care about us. He's here charging us so much. Why do we keep fucking coming back? We've been coming here for years and every week is the same." And I couldn't blame them. They had a terrible experience every single time they were there. Their hair never
Yeah.
even looked good, and, it was unbelievable. I'd also hear clients this was the tip one of the tipping points for me was the clientele that would come there were Hmm. very hardcore conservatives to the point where
Okay.
there was one time and it was the kind of salon where there's like a a row of mirrors, and there were stations on both sides, so you can easily hear what's happening on the other side of the mirror. There
Right.
was a client on the other side of the mirror that was talking terrible things about trans people. It was like it made me
Oh,
so uncomfortable, it made my clients so
no.
uncomfortable, and I remembered I peered over the mirror and I said, "Excuse me, can you please keep it down? It's making everybody around you uncomfortable." And I could tell the assistant that was doing her hair, she was almost frozen with shock. She didn't even know how to respond to this woman because
Oh,
she
no.
was and
She's,
at the
like,
time there was a
mortified.
yeah, and at the time there was a trans person in the salon, which
Oh,
a stylist
no.
that was working there. They treated them terribly. They treated that stylist so badly. But
Oh, that makes me sick.
this assistant was such a good person that they put up with it. Anyway, so I asked this person to, like, calm down and, keep it to herself. And then a minute later, there she goes back again, and she's saying the exact same thing. And I looked at my client and I had to apologize. And it was in that moment that I realized I couldn't continue working there. It was maybe 2
No.
years at this point. I said, it doesn't make sense for me to be here. You shouldn't have to be worried about feeling safe to come get your hair done. You should be having a good time. It should
100%.
be great. I reached over to the other side, and in front of this client, I said to the stylist doing her hair, "I'm so sorry you have to listen to this." And I looked at all the other people around and I said, "I'm so sorry that everybody has to listen to this because some people don't understand that they're in public, and read the room. Nobody around you is comfortable. and this is not
Wow,
appropriate for you
good
to be
for
talking like
you.
this. And
Good
I
for
just
you.
stood there in complete silence afterwards. Like nobody said anything after that because it was just such a tense moment. But oh my God, I'll never forget it. That salon had some crazy stuff. One time, okay, so I would always be wondering how this place would stay afloat because their rent must have been like 20 to 30 grand a month having a
Yeah,
whole house in Yorkville, right?
yeah.
And I would always wonder, like, most of their clients were these like young, hot women with like tons of plastic surgery and head to toe designer. And I'd always be wondering, where are you getting this endless supply of beautiful, rich, young women? Like, where did, like,
Okay.
you obviously tapped into it. And it took me a solid year before my other client was like, Benny, they're women of the night. They are
Ah,
dancers. And it all made sense in that exact moment because his main source of client acquisition was to go to strip clubs and spend a
oh,
ton of money and then make the girls that were either the bottle service girls or the dancers come to the salon for a free service, which would
right.
then snowball into I'm gonna bleach your hair, fry it, sell you thousands of dollars of hair extensions to the point where you can't even do your own hair and you have to come in twice a week for a blowout. That
Yeah.
was the exact path that almost every
No,
one
they're
of those
trapped.
clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then at that point, you're stuck.
Wow.
You're in so deep that you don't even know what to do at that point, right? You think you need all these
Also,
things.
so he's going in there, he's giving them money for dancing, but then they're bringing the money back into the shop to pay to get their
Yeah,
hair done. So he's
hand over
actually
fist.
yeah, exactly. Ah, that's
Hand
so
over fist.
interesting.
I mean,
Mm,
it's low key brilliant. It's excellent. If the actual hair turned out to be great afterwards and it was a
yeah.
that is pretty smart, I have to say, because these girls would come in and they would be spending thousands of dollars in cash every single time, to the point where these girls were buying just new heads of extensions at every install.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that was the salon that I worked at. It was unbelievable, but I said all of that to lead up so that you could understand the type of person that would be in the salon
Oh my
because
god, there's
there
more?
was there was yeah, of course there's more. There's so much I'm
Okay,
not telling you guys. There's so many
okay.
stories I got. So there would be, like, a shift in the energy of the salon at around 4:30, 5 o'clock when the very wealthy older women would be there in the morning, and then it would slowly transition into the strip club girls at around 5 o'clock,
Right.
right? So there
Yeah.
was sometimes like an overlap of the two different types of clientele. So there was
Interesting.
this one time this older woman was sitting with her color processing, and the way the salon was set up, like I said, there was a row of mirrors with stylists on either side, and then T-boned at the very end was 4 or 5 shampoo bowls. So if you were sitting in the shampoo bowl, you were staring out at all of the
Oh,
people
no.
getting their hair
Okay.
done, right? And so
Yeah.
this older woman is sitting there with her color, and she's a sweet old lady. Like, she just maybe not old lady, but she was an older woman, like, more mature, very sweet lady. She would always have great compliments to everybody. I don't understand why she went there. Anyway, so she's sitting there getting her color done, and this young girl is sitting there waiting with her toner in, and she has waist length extensions up to her part, okay? It looked terrible,
Mm.
platinum blonde, it did not look good at all, did not look good at all. She's laying there with the toner in her head, and this woman is sitting there, the older woman is sitting there just generally looking in that direction, nothing in particular, right? This young girl, "Who the fuck do you think you're looking at, huh, bitch?" And this girl's like, "Oh, oh, I'm so sorry.
Ew.
I'm not looking at you. I'm just looking in like nowhere." She's like, "I can fucking see you. Who the fuck do you think you are staring at me?" She gets up from the shampoo bowl. There's toner and hair dripping all down her back as she stands up to fucking be like, ah, and this poor old lady's like, "I didn't say anything or even look at you. Calm down." And she gets so uncomfortable. She turns flaming red. Both of them are flaming red, basically, at this point now.
Oh
And
my
all the
god.
assistants had to come and be like, "No, no, no, it's okay. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay." And I remember just standing there like, what the fuck was that? Like, like, what?
Oh my god, that's wild.
Yeah, and I saved my favorite story for last. This is
Okay, save
my
it.
okay,
What is
this
it?
is this is on and this is actually kind of scary, and you know. Anyways, um, so on the very last day, I'd already started working on my new salon, so I knew I was gonna be leaving that salon. I was on month to month, and I didn't have to give notice. So I knew that at the end of that month, I could just tell him, like, "Listen, I'm done working. I'm not gonna be coming back next month." And so it was on the last day that I knew I was gonna be there, and so I walk in and, brief layout of the salon. The way I came in from the parking lot in the back, I had to walk in on the basement, and the basement had, like, a little staff room with a hallway leading into the middle of the, like, nothing of the basement with a girl that did spray tans, okay? So keep in mind
Okay.
that, like, the room she does her spray tans in is in the back of a hallway, there's no exits back there, okay? And then the
Right.
rest of the salon is all the way upstairs. So I walk into the salon, this girl that does spray tans is screaming at the owner, top of her lungs. It is like 10 o'clock in the morning. She's screaming at the top of her lungs. And you know when the argument is so heated, you can't even really tell what they're saying because it's just there's just everyone's screaming over the
Yeah.
other person and you don't really. And I was trying to start my day, so I went upstairs, came back downstairs maybe half an hour later after I put my first color on. The girl that was screaming, like, the girl that does the tans, she's holding a bottle of vodka and is just drinking it, just straight
No.
vodka. At this point, it's like 10:30. She's like, "Do you want a shot?" And I'm like, "Babe, I don't like vodka at all, in fact." But yeah, like, seems like there's a lot going on right now.
But
But
yeah, hand
yeah,
it
so
over.
I had, like, a tiny little shot just to, like, get at the same level, and so she tells me now this I'm gonna say this is alleged because I don't
Okay.
need to be taken to court for this. Allegedly, she was doing a client, so spraying a client, and she also kinda catered to the same clientele, like these women with, like, big,
Right.
beautiful bodies, okay? So she's spraying this woman, and the client looks up into the mirror or into the ceiling and sees a flashing red
Shut
light.
shut up.
Yeah.
He's
So
filming.
the client freaks the fuck out. She tears out of there. She grabs her clothes and just leaves. She tears out of there. This girl that's doing the spray tan is mortified. She is so scared
Oh
because
my
she like
god.
there's charges laying. You could go to jail for that. You know what I mean? And so
Yep.
she's screaming at the manager saying, "Why the fuck are there cameras in that room? There's no need for cameras." At first, he says, "Oh, it's for security," but like I said before, that was at the very end of a hallway. There's no inner exits from that room. If there was
Yeah.
gonna be a camera, it would be in the hallway facing out or in the room that led into that room, which had the, basement door. If there was
And
gonna
you
be a
know every
camera,
single person going into that room is getting naked. So, like, there's no need for a camera in that room.
there's no need for a camera in that room.
No.
And so he's just saying, "Oh, the cameras are fake. All the cameras are fake. All the cameras are fake." And to be fair, there were cameras all over that salon, like everywhere in that salon, there were cameras. And some of them would beep red, some of them wouldn't. Now that I'm thinking back, I never really paid attention to it because I never had to. And that was the first time that that was a situation that I even was like, well, let me pay attention. I just was like, of course, you're gonna have cameras. This is a very expensive salon, so yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, she's freaking out, saying that she's gonna get the cops called on her, she's gonna whatever, and I never found out what ended up happening in the end. The salon is still there, but the main stylist who would go all around eventually
Yeah.
just never came back to Toronto. He just stayed in Miami and just never came back to
Oh.
Toronto, and for all intents and purposes, basically gave that other stylist, like the other main stylist, the salon. So now the other stylist's name is on the front door of that salon.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the manager is still there. I'm pretty sure the same business model is still happening. Why would you change anything if it's low key working? But I remember that salon was like, as a reality show. That was every day there was an episode
No
of
kidding.
Vanderpump Rules or some random shit. Can you
Or like
imagine?
Tabitha, like, I wish Tabitha
Oh
could have
my
gone
god,
in there.
Tabitha would tear them apart because there was no actual color knowledge at all happening there, like none.
Yeah.
Like it was the wild, wild west of color theory, and so me being an educator, I would be giving free classes. I would, they
Trying to help everybody
unfortunately
else out, yeah.
nothing got better.
My
It was
my
so crazy.
favorite my favorite episode of Tabitha's ever. And for those of you out there that don't know, Tabitha is a famous hairstylist who I don't know when this maybe was like the early 2000s, Benny, the
Yeah,
show.
early
So this was
2000s,
like
yeah.
when reality shows were like just kind of first becoming a big thing. And so Tabitha had this show called Tabitha's Takedown, I think, right?
Tabitha's
And
Salon takeover.
yeah, so as and she would go around to different salons, and basically it was like the Gordon Ramsay of the hair industry. So she
Yeah.
would, tell you everything that's wrong with your salon. She would whip everybody into shape. It was wild
She'd come in, she'd put cameras
too.
all over, yeah, she'd watch
Yes.
you in your salon, and then she would have a moment with the owner where she would talk about what was happening, because sometimes the
Yes.
owner wasn't in on it, and then she would
Yep.
kinda take the keys of the salon, give it a mini makeover, teach them how to do hair. I actually saw
Yeah.
her once in New York, it was amazing. She
Did
was
you?
walking in Yeah, she was walking in front of me in Brooklyn, and at first I recognized her hair because she has an iconic ice
Yes.
white ice white pixie cut.
Same
It's
haircut every time.
stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same haircut every time, and then I noticed that everybody around here was wearing long, flowy black clothes, and I thought, "Oh, this is 100% Tabitha," and I was
Yes.
gonna, like, go to tap her shoulder, but I was like, "You know what? She's probably gonna chew
She's
my finger
she's
off," like, so
scaring me. Yeah, she's so scary.
so I just let
Wait,
her go
so
on.
my favorite episode ever was this one, and it's just, like, stuck in my memory where she goes into the salon and all the hairstylists are hammered. Do you remember this episode?
Yo,
They're
no, tell me
hammered,
about it.
and, like, the one I remember the one goes to sit down on her stool, like, her cutting stool, and she just falls right off. They all have they all have, like, little mini alcohols, like, hidden in their stations, and, like, it's just and
Yo.
everybody knows about it. They're all just drinking all day
Do
long,
the
and it
clients
blew
care?
my mind. I don't know, like, I don't know if the clients were aware, which thinking back, like, how are you not aware? Like,
How
you
are
can
you
usually
not
tell when
aware?
someone is that drunk, right? It now I need to go binge that episode again,
Yeah,
slash,
you
like,
definitely
that
have to
whole
find it.
show, that whole
Yeah.
series, but
Tell me what
man,
episode it
it
was.
is wild. Yes, I will. Where did you watch it on?
There's ah, this random app I think called Pluto that allowed y I think it had it on like a 24-hour loop or something to that effect, or
Oh,
maybe I
sick.
watched it on some IPTV or on Amazon, I can't remember. It was
Okay.
one
I'll
of the
do some
things I had.
investigating.
Do some investigation. What's that little place in just outside of Boston?
I don't know.
Anyways, so it was this salon in a little beach town that was primarily like a little gay beach town or something like that, and
Yeah.
this owner was, like a little short, kind of like round gay guy who was so, so extreme, like the loudest person ever, and he would make the stylist stand out on the street to, like, harass the people walking by. Everybody that was sitting in the chair, he would talk to each and every client and make them all feel uncomfortable. He would be
Oh,
like, "Oh, let's go
no.
have a free spray tan. I wanna get you naked," and, like, just all
No!
yeah, it was so cringe, and I remember Tabitha just pulled them aside and said, "Are you okay? Is this an act, or are you screaming for pain? Because why do you feel the need to harass each and every person that not only is in your salon, but walks by your salon too?" It screams desperation. He'd be like,
Yeah.
you're in town for vacation? Come, both of you, haircuts." And they'd be like, "Oh, no, we don't need haircuts." He's like, $10, $5, whatever, come in for a haircut. And
Forces them in.
forces them in to he would say anything on the street to get you to come into the salon and then
Wow.
trap you once you're in there. I'll never forget that. That was such
Oh
a
my
funny episode.
gosh.
I
I
love
cannot
Tabitha's
wait.
salon
Yeah,
takeover.
I cannot wait.
Yeah. Wow. We're definitely gonna start binging that from now on
Yeah,
again.
that's, like, literally what I'm doing right when we turn off this podcast.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, I love that. Okay, letter of the week. I have one in.
Ooh, yay, okay.
Yes. I actually didn't finish this one because I just read the title and thought, "Say less, we're gonna read this week." Okay? It's and because to me, a good title, just if you've thought about a good title, then
Yeah,
chances are the rest of the email is gonna be pretty good. Okay, so this one's
100%.
called "Family Ties and Blow Dry Lies." I thought that was so
Ooh, it
cute, right?
rhymes. Okay.
It rhymes. Hi, locks of lore. I need advice and not the gentle kind. I need the kind that gets me out of this situation without being disowned at Thanksgiving. I work at a salon owned by my aunt. Okay, this is already going to be intense.
Uh-oh.
Yes, my actual blood-related sees me at Christmas aunt. When I first started in the industry, it felt like a dream setup. Built-in support, family rates on chair rent, flexible schedule. She told everyone she was so proud to mentor me. Fast forward to 3 years later, I am not thriving. Let me paint the picture. Because I'm family, there are no boundaries. I don't get treated like a normal stylist. I get treated like unpaid management. If someone calls in sick, I'm covering. If towels aren't folded,
Mhm.
can you just
Yeah.
quickly handle that? If there's salon drama, I'm being pulled into the back room like I'm HR. Meanwhile, the other salon stylists come in, do their clients, and leave peacefully like civilians. But me, I'm in a group called the core team that never sleeps. My aunt also has a habit of correcting me in front of my clients. The other day, I was mid consultation and she walks over, touched my client's hair, and said, "You don't usually formulate like that there." We? I've been doing hair for 8 years. Then later she told me, where I just want to make sure you're representing the salon properly. Ma'am, I am the salon half the time. Financially, it's also getting questionable. My rent is discounted, but somehow I'm still expected to stay late for walk-ins, help train new assistants unpaid, and pitch in during busy days without any real structure. And if I ever push back, it turns into, "I've done so much for you," or "family supports family." Which, okay, but at what cost? Here's where it gets really messy. I want to leave. I'm ready to grow, set boundaries, and honestly just be treated like a professional, not an a niece on not a niece on standby. But I know if I leave, it's not just a job decision, it's a family situation. I can already hear it. After everything I've done for you, you're abandoning the family business. Don't expect things to be the same between us. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to cause a generational rift over a balayage career. So my question is, how do I quit a toxic salon when the owner is literally your family? How do you set boundaries without it turning into a full-blown family feud? And is there even a way to leave gracefully, or do I just have to accept that this is going to be messy no matter what? Please help me quit. Please help me quit before I get guilt tripped into working Christmas Eve again. Sincerely, family ties and blow dry lies.
That
Whew.
is your classic toxic salon workspace from, like,
Yep,
not giving you lunch breaks to making you work overtime unpaid to gaslighting you
yep,
to,
and
using
making
you.
you feel like they're giving you, like, some
The world.
leniency and the world
Yeah,
and everything, but really, you are the backbone of that place.
yeah,
That's it, and there's nothing she can really do, it feels like, you know? That's a really
yeah.
tough one because I'm I have a feeling that no matter what this person does, there's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, it sounds like it, and so I think you should just leave as quickly and as honorably as you can to try and make it the least awkward that it can once you see this aunt at family dinners or whatever it is,
Yeah.
but, I mean, maybe just say that someone's offered you, like, this amazing opportunity and you're gonna take it and, just try to find
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah, I mean, that's I was wondering what are some ways that this person can leave. Now, of course, they can just blow everything up and say, "I can't work here anymore," and start somewhere else.
Yep,
Um, I had a thought that it depends on how much she wants this person in her life in the future, or
yep.
they want this person in their life in the future. But if you were to open a salon in a different part of city, would you be able to say that it's under the same umbrella where this aunt doesn't have any actual managerial role in the new salon, but you can branch it as or market it as an expansion of the family business where you are opening a salon in the other side of town. Now, you both are basically cornering the town and just let this aunt know that, that will be mostly your salon where this other person doesn't have any actual managerial, say,
I
but
feel like
maybe just stroking her ego and saying, "Hey, we can partner on this new salon," and you just don't come.
yeah, and you just don't ever walk through the door. I feel like I could see that aunt micromanaging everything, even if she
I
says she's
agree.
not going to, but, like, I see where you're going with that. I
Yeah.
just I feel like, I don't even know
Like,
if I
there's
would wanna
something
do
in there,
that.
but it would
Yeah.
definitely involve a little bit of questioning whether or not this aunt has some sort of boundaries, but this would also give you an avenue to have clear cut boundaries where there's an actual contract saying, "I'm opening this new salon." Throw her a bone and say XYZ can be your responsibility, but A through X is mine.
Yeah.
And, that way that person knows whenever they try to overstep their boundary, you can say, listen, thank you for your input, but this is no longer something that you need to be responsible for. I will take over that. And it allows you to have some say in the business without making her feel like she's been, thrown out.
Mhm.
'Cause I can understand that she's gonna feel left out, this aunt is gonna feel like she mentored you, sounds like, for 8 years. That is a chunk of
Right.
time, and, I'd hope that you've had your clientele built up at this point. I would suggest getting your own salon. You've been running this salon for this person anyways, so you might as well
Yeah.
have your own salon. You know what you're doing. It's not like you
Yeah.
need to go into something, downgrading from that, but maybe there's a way where this aunt can feel like she's involved.
Yeah, I feel like that is so risky, but I think either way, you've gotten yourself into a little
Yeah.
mess. I feel like either way,
Yeah.
it's gonna be risky, whatever you end up deciding to do.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Ugh. You know what? It's funny because this reminds me of, the salon I worked at in the same Yorkville area, and it's funny because I was working this place for a while, and the boss also ended up being toxic. We can get into that another day, but I remembered one time I looked at their last name, and I said, "Oh, you have the same last name as this other really huge chain salon that's all over the city," and I said it basically in the same way, and the owner
oh.
goes, "Oh, that's my brother, we don't talk anymore," and I was like, "Oh, okay, uh, never mind."
Oh.
But I was like, "Oh, this other
Yeah,
salon, they're everywhere, they have salons everywhere in the city, you have the same last
they're
name, that's
so
so funny.
famous.
They're
Yeah.
so famous." Yeah.
I mean, there you go, that's what happens, they don't talk anymore, there's your answer. There's your
Oh,
answer.
yeah, you're right, they don't talk anymore.
Yeah,
So, I think you just have to bite the bullet. I think you just gotta decide that your piece is worth more, and you can thrive. You obviously have
and
strong
spread
skin.
those yeah, spread those wings, you don't need your aunt anymore
Yeah.
to
Yeah, little baby
you
dove, spread those wings.
exactly, spread those wings
Yeah.
and fly.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
love
advice.
this for you. And you know what? If you wanna be petty about it, you can call the salon something like New Beginnings Hair Salon or like Fresh Start Salon, Fuck You My
Yeah,
Aunt Salon, whatever, when it just
exactly.
rolls off the
That's amazing.
uh, yeah, but I definitely think that you should rip the Band-Aid off and find yourself a new working environment as soon as possible, because one of 2 things is gonna happen. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. And
Yeah,
the only way it's ever going to get better is if this aunt finds the way to retire and leaves the business to you. And that's the only way you're going to get some reprieve if you stay there. And I mean,
mhm,
you don't know how long that's going to be. If it sounds like that's something that the aunt has in the back burner, then hold out. Just realize that you could also just sit this aunt down and say, "Listen, XYZ is happening, and unless we figure this out, I can't stay here." Because that's also a very valid thing for you to say to them. You don't necessarily have to leave. You could try just sitting them down and saying, "Listen, I love you. You're my family, and I feel like we need to talk about this." You can write them a letter if you feel like it's easier,
yeah,
and that way you can let the aunt know that their actions are causing you to feel this way. And the best part about this is when you do decide eventually to leave, if that's the course of action you go to, the person will understand why. The aunt will understand why you chose to leave
that's
because you
true.
addressed the situation. And if that aunt didn't figure out a way to fix the situation, it leaves you no opportunity but to leave. And I think that
Yeah,
that gives you a fair grounding in the future, if this aunt brings it up by saying, listen, I've treated you this way, I gave you everything, you can say, listen, but XYZ is also true. And you did not do anything to rectify that. And that
Mhm.
forced me to leave. And so I think that that
That's a
can
good
kind of
point.
justify it for you. I would
Yeah.
start by talking to them because they are your family. It's not some random person that you've known for 8 years. It is your aunt. So hopefully they can have some compassion there for you. And let them know how their actions make you feel. If they do love you, they should be able to empathize with you and say,
Yeah.
"Listen, I understand." Because what's funny is somebody probably did the exact same thing to that aunt, and the aunt thinks that that's just the way it's done, and you could be healing generational trauma in the hair industry because that has happened. That is something that is we need to talk about. People learn from their mentors for better or for worse. It probably was how
Yeah.
she was raised in the salon and just thought that's how salon culture is. You're my family. You got to take it. I took it and is now doing the exact same thing to you. So maybe this is your opportunity to educate her in a way of
Mhm.
that's not the way it needs to be done. If you want to have a relationship with me, you need to realize that you are harming me by expecting XYZ,
Yeah.
you
That's
know?
really good, Benny. I like that advice. Yep.
Yeah.
I think
So
that's where you should start.
give it a shot and all the best. I wish you so much success. Definitely let us know how this goes because we wanna hear all the tea, but I do
Yeah,
hope
for
that you
sure.
find a way to rectify this with your aunt where you don't have to leave because you do kind of have the perfect situation there if the rest wasn't true. If it was just what you expected it to be, which was great rent, maybe a little bit more leniency in the flexibility of how you run the business, then of course, continue to do that if you can. But if it works out that you're not able to work it out with your aunt, then you definitely have to leave because one thing will definitely happen if you stay there and nothing gets better. You will run yourself into the ground and you're
Mhm.
gonna stop doing hair and you're gonna hate the hair industry because of the place you worked at. And that happens all the time. I
Yes.
almost left the hair industry so many times, and it wasn't because of hair, it was because of the salon that I worked in. And it makes you feel like you hate the industry, but you just hate that
Exactly.
person and that environment.
And toxic salons.
Toxic salons. Wishing you the best, listener. Please follow up and let us know. And if you have a letter that you would like to have us read on our podcast, it can be about something in the hair industry, it can be about something even personal. We don't care. We love to hear it. Make sure to send us an email at locksoflorepodcast@gmail.
Thanks for joining us.
And don't forget to give us 5 stars and like and follow. It really helps get our podcast in front of new audiences. Thank you so much. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.
That wraps up today's episode of Locks of Lore. If this conversation hit close to home, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a stylist who needs to hear it.
You can find us on social media at Benny_and the Jets.
And at tashpotatoes_hair.
If you've got a story, question, or salon situation you want us to break down, send it our way, anonymously always, at locksoflorepodcast@gmail.com.
Until next time, know your worth,
Protect your energy.
and we'll see you behind the chair.